What's going on, guys? We're over in Perth, and you may have witnessed on the podcast feed that there's no podcast coming up. That's because I'm over in Perth. Thanks to Kayo, we are doing interviews all week long with all the fighters leading up to 305. So make sure to tune in on Sunday. You can get the pay-per-view on Kayo. It's going to be a banger. Israel versus Duplessis. Plus also we've got some Urseg versus Kayo France. It is banger after banger, so make sure to tune in for that. But I thought, while I'm over here, because there's no podcast, you know what, I'll do some Perth diaries. And I thought, the great Roasty just happened to be here. I literally just walked out the door, he just happened to be standing there. I said, come in, brus.
Mate, you're lucky you walked out there. I was just on my way down to the beach. It's a cloudy, rainy day, but, glad to be here. Perth, mate, thanks for bringing me up from reserve grade. 18th man stepping in.
No roast a lot.
No guru, so thought I'd get a look-alike.
Mate, now you're over here with Sportsbet, but what are you looking forward to for this week,
mate? Just the whole feel of it. Same when we're driving in from the airport, it just feels like a big country town, and everyone gets around it. Wherever you go, everyone's talking to you. There's plenty of sport on this weekend too. Like if you're a massive sports fan, you've got the Wallabies on Saturday night. You've got Carlton and West Coast on Sunday after the fights. But this card is just, if you're an Aussie fight fan, it's from start to finish. It's
banger after banger.
100%. So looking forward to it.
I can't wait to see Urseg. So Urseg gets this close in the title shot recently, just misses out. Now he's going to fight Kayo France, who is when we're talking about bangers, like a bloke willing to go out in his shield. That's him. So that's going to be an incredible fight. But
it's like, who do you love more? Because both of these guys are really likeable.
Likeable guys. And also, Kayo France, he is with the Warriors. He loves league.
Yes, he loves league. Actually, we saw him last night walking around the streets and got a handshake. So I was going home very, very aroused, as you would say. But no, lovely bloke. And, New Zealand versus Australia, it's, obviously we're going for the Aussie, but it's going to be a great matchup, that one.
It's been truly one of the ones where I've been torn because, as you said, Kayo France is a legend of a bloke, and I know him more than I know Urseg, but Urseg is an Aussie that trumps all, in my opinion.
You actually look like Urseg. Have you been told that, or?
I'm told I fight like him.
Yeah, sure. You can tell yourself that. But no, all round good guy, and can't wait for that one.
Mate, who you picking in the main event? I tell you what, so we did the Welcome to Country yesterday. Went out there, which is always incredible.
So you in the thick of it?
In the thick of it. Oh, yeah, mate, just locked in. Fight this week, mate. I get locked in the zone. I can't help it. I tell you what was weird. So Duplessis and Stylebender, Israel, they've had some crazy back and forth, and we're talking to the core of your being, some of the stuff they've said to each other. And what's mental is there's probably 40 people there. We're just in this park, and you've got Duplessis standing next to me, and then you've got Israel 5-10 metres over there, and they hate each other, but they're just chilling.
Just normal blokes, yeah.
Just chilling, and you're just it's crazy. These blokes are about to kill each other in a few days, and they're 10 metres away from each other. What's weird is I feel like the crowd around them was more wigging out than the actual fight.
What's going to happen here?
Yeah, what's going to happen? Because I spoke to Duplessis today, and you'll actually get the snippet on Kayo Instagram and our Instagram. You get the snippet. Duplessis was literally look, obviously, if he shows respect, I'll show respect. But if he wants to I'll scrap right there and then.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I think the cameras aren't really prominent there. They're not, talking. That was a sort of a respectful thing. And until they actually get a camera that's going to go mainstream, that's when they're going to, really engage and talk it up. I'm sure behind the scenes, if they bumped into each other, it'd be a handshake and walk along.
No, I reckon they actually dislike each other.
Oh, really?
So that's what I mean. I was interviewing the boys. You were here. You saw it. You saw it firsthand. Duplessis was like, mate, I'm ready to go at any drop of the hat if he wants to go.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought behind the scenes they'd probably play it a bit cooler, but
nah, they genuinely dislike each other because basically the build up has been around Duplessis,
and a long build up too, the last 2 years. So
and Israel, he stepped away from the sport, but a big part of the build up has been Duplessis is from South Africa and he trains there, and basically he at one point said I am a South African champion because I train here, I've got my camp here. And Israel Adesanya, who was initially from there, obviously moved over to New Zealand, took offence to that.
Yep.
And so the back and forth was basically about what is a real African. I'm using air quotes right there, and that's how personal it is. That is how deep the back and forth has been. So that's why when you're standing next to him, you're like, this wasn't just like, oh, F you and I'm a better fighter. This is like genuine dislike. So,
Well, I remember when they jumped in the ring and had the face off and going back and forth, and how intense that was watching that as a fan. So hopefully they bring it out on Sunday.
Oh my
I
God.
want to pull you up and just say congratulations on how well you're pronouncing the names as well.
Du Plessis.
Yep, very good.
Thank you. I've been working on it. You know what?
I know you cop a lot of flack with name,
exactly.
yeah. So I've got to pull you up and say well done.
Oh, you know what's funny is that has forced me to, because as anyone bloke listening right now, the irony that you just gave me a compliment about names, they're probably listening going, he's literally the worst.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is I'm getting the really hard names. Nawanga Nitawase. I'm getting that right.
Wow.
I'm getting that right, but I still get like Milne wrong. Tane Milne.
Yep.
Like that's still hard for me to say. Bo Fermor sounds weird. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, I'll take the compliment when I get
Take
it.
a win, yep.
Mate, I cannot wait. Who are you picking in the main event?
Look, I've got to back my boy Izzy. I think he's taken a bit of time away. He comes back nice and fresh, and that drive to get that title back is massive. So I think he'll take the title. As big and strong as Du Plessis is, I think Izzy takes that one.
He's built like a footy player.
Yeah.
Like when you see Du Plessis in real life, it genuinely looks like a footy player. Especially he's got like a lot of muscle mass around his neck,
broad shoulders.
Like definitely built like a bloke that could play rugby. Also, he was a
Where would he play? Where would you put him? In the front row, in the like a lock, or not in the front row, but like in the forward pack in lock, or out the back?
Well, it's hard to say because right now he's probably got a dropped. Like, so in fighting, you probably want to be as light as you can be.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas obviously when you get into league, you put on a lot of muscle mass, to go in certain positions. So I reckon he probably would be in the forwards. Probably would be, because by the time he got into league and by the time he got into a preseason, they would have put at least an extra 5-6 kilos on him.
Yep.
Which I reckon he walks into the ring probably 90 kilos, maybe more.
What do you reckon he walks around at, like around 98 or something?
Nah,
not that heavy.
I reckon about 93.
Yeah, okay.
And so I reckon, when you're talking about league, if you did a full preseason, he probably would be around the 96, 97 kilos. So yeah, probably a lock or maybe a big centre.
I reckon a ball playing lock, yeah.
A ball playing lock.
Yeah.
Lock him in. Israel, I tried to get Israel Adesanya into league, but he didn't want to bar of it. I was like, mate, you train with leagueies, and he was like, nah, just not my thing.
I had him when we spoke, Sydney in September. Said he likes the acrobats of like Dallin Wateni, Lesniak, and so I reckon I put him on the wing, big range at Langy.
Oh mate, 100%. Israel Folau, similar to Israel Folau, big on the wing side, mate. So. But in saying that, he did say anytime he gets invited to go down and watch the Warriors, he definitely goes and plays them. Now, mate, we're in Perth, apparently, the 18th team, sorry. I tell you what.
I went down to HBF Park today.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I went down. They couldn't let me in. I rang, wouldn't let me in, said no dice. But
who's this fucking guy at the front?
Yeah, but went out and checked it out. I know they had a game here last week, and thought I'd go check the park out, where hopefully in 2027 we're going to get regular rugby league football there. So keen for that. And I went and checked out Rebel Sport as well to see if they had any rugby league kit. I'll ask the question, who do you think was the one team they had?
Broncos.
No, Dolphins.
No way.
So only Dolphins kit. So they had a few AFL teams, obviously. They had West Coast and Fremantle and a bunch of that. But the only rugby league team they had was the Dolphins. So they played here last week. So they must have a little bit of a following here.
You know what? Maybe the Dolphins have pushed hard for that, because the Dolphins, the reason... to my knowledge, the Whispers, the reason why they didn't call themselves the Redcliffe Dolphins and just the Dolphins is their angle was they were trying to be everyone's like second team, or people that, for example, let's say you're a Tigers fan and you've fallen off the wagon because the Tigers haven't been going so well. I think that their approach was, we want to try and pick up those kind of fans.
Yep.
And so maybe that's an angle why they have jerseys here, because there's a lot of league fans here that want a team to support.
And also, the newest team, so it's easier to sort of, promote that. But yeah, look, hopefully we get an announcement. I was hoping this week, so we could, we talk it up big while we're here. But
it looks like it's happening.
I like when the rumours start coming from the journos, and they're starting to say that the Western Australian government and North Sydney Bears have made an agreement and all that sort of stuff. It seems like it's imminent.
Yeah. I tell you what, though.
Looking forward to it.
I came in here years ago for a trial match with St. George, so I didn't really remember like what it was like. Coming here now, it's not a bad place to live. Like, it's a pretty beautiful. Like as you said, it's almost like a country city. Like it's a city, but you can, well, put it this way, you can go for a run and you're basically running like on the ocean, pretty much. And so, like, when it comes to, like, for example, PNG is the other bid that would be competing right now for it. And although PNG, like, incredible groundswell of support, or it would be at this stage right now with everything going on in PNG, it would be a little bit tougher to live because you'd probably have to live in a gated community. And whereas here, like, it's a good lifestyle. There's also a lot of money over here as well. So for investment, it does, when you stack it all up. Initially, I was a big fan of the PNG bid because of the groundswell of support, because of the fact that it's their number one sport. But then when you add in all the other things like place to live, the finances, and it does seem to me that makes sense as to, like, this should be the 18th team.
I think, like, if you probably speak to a few of the Melbourne guys that, you know, over the years that have gone down there and stayed down there, one thing they love is getting out of that fishbowl of Sydney, and they can walk around pretty much anonymous. I think that's a massive appeal here, is they can just walk around and just be normal blokes. Go to the pub, have a few beers, not be hassled by, you know, fans and things like that. So
I will say, though, quite a few podcast listeners have stopped me.
Well, you're big in Perth. Big in Perth.
You know what? They're like, Sir, we love you.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, actually, I'm fucking...
Take a photo, yeah. But I think, that and, you know, a great lifestyle as well. Like, there's plenty of sport going on with the like, if you love your AFL as well. I think the Western Force are gone, aren't they?
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah. But no, they're still here. Yep, we're getting a nod
they're
from...
They're still here? The Force?
Oh, Rebels went.
The Rebels went.
Big rugby union
Weren't
guys
the
here.
Force, like, close to going or something like that? Oh, they came back. Well, there you go.
There you go. So, look, there's plenty of stuff going on. And even the footy oval where HBF Park where we went, it's honestly, you could walk there from here, from the city. So, for fans, you know, going there, watching the game, coming back, having a few beers and stuff like that, it's a great environment for it. So,
well, if it works in bloody Sydney where you got to friggin' travel 50 hours to get out to the... Not the worst stadium in the world, but let's just say it's not the best stadium in the world. Like, that matters. Like,
100%.
I think, like, an underrated part of Suncorp is the fact that getting in and out of it is actually pretty easy, and it's close to the city and Caxton Street.
I hate saying it as a New South Welshman, but it is like the greatest. Magic Round is
so
like
good.
my number one thing of sport.
It's so good.
5 minutes, you know, literally I left at half time to go I had to go get a jersey for a shoot, come back, I was back before the kickoff of the second half. So it's, you know, and that's the thing with this one here so close. I'm assuming it's going to be played at HBF Park. That just makes it so much easier for fans and hopefully bring them in.
Now, mate, the Hall of Fame has been selected while we're over here. I can't believe they did without us, but it's all right.
Where was Campy on the red carpet, you know, announcing this?
Devastated.
You know, live presser.
So you got Morgan, Boyd, that's Les Boyd, Benny Elias, Steve Renoff, Cameron Smith, Thurston, Billy Slater, Benji Marshall, Cooper Cronk, Greg Ellis, Sam Burgess. Thoughts on the Hall of Fame, mate?
Look, it's a stacked class. Plenty of Queenslanders in there. A little bit of international flavour as well. And, you know, some names from the past that, you know, could have been in there probably a little bit earlier. But, yeah, look, it's a massive class. And the fact that those guys, the Queenslanders that were so integral in Queensland's, you know, 8 in a row, going in together, I think is massive. They get to share that achievement. You know, again, another win for Queensland over New South Wales. But for them, it'll be special. I know a couple of them here grew up playing, like Cameron Smith and Cooper Cronk grew up playing together, and Billy Slater, I think, playing junior footy, you know, local footy, then, you know, NRL and Origin Australia. So to go in that Hall of Fame class together is pretty special.
Has Freddie Fittler already been inducted? Surely,
yeah, I believe.
Surely he's already
has
there.
to be. Yeah,
because I was about to say there's no like.
Yep.
Has to be in there.
I'm not even going to probably think about it. I'd say he's in there, yeah.
I think the one where I was not surprised at all, but I think for me personally, we were just discussing it before, I think if you looked at just his resume on the field, you could be like, oh, is it as good as these other guys' resume? It's maybe not, but Benji Marshall's one for me, where I think that not the reason, maybe the reason is purely his resume, because he won the grand final, the World Cup, which are incredible feats. But I think the reason why, my argument for why I think Benji should be in there is because I feel like he changed the game. Like some people are like, oh, well, you put him next to, say, a Darren Lockyer's resume or a Cam Smith or a Billy Slater. Yeah, okay, maybe it's a bit lopsided with those names. But there is, as you said earlier, there's no Sean Johnson without Benji Marshall.
Yep.
Like, Kalen Ponga, like Benji Marshall, the way he played changed the game. And I think that what's good about the Hall of Fame, I'm assuming it recognises that as well. Because before he came in, the yarn was, at least for me, because I was on the Gold Coast when he was growing up there, and he was a big name on the Gold Coast, Benji, like. And the yarn is that good touch footy players probably can't change the league because it's such a different game, because of the contact or whatever. And Benji changed that.
Yeah.
Again, that's what I remember growing up around that area. Now, it may have been different in the wider audience of rugby, because obviously I wasn't as involved with the game back then. But I think Benji Marshall, the fact that he changed the game the way he did, is why he should be in there.
I think you make some valid points. I think with comparing him against some of those guys that have a state of origin resume is sometimes a little bit unfair, because obviously we build them up. That state of origin is like the pinnacle nearly. So if you take that out and just go, okay, as a Kiwi, as a premiership player, he won a premiership, he won a World Cup, very close to a Dally M, he won some positional awards. I think, Hall of Fame, like we don't look at it that much when we look at immortals, right? So we always think, who's going to be the next immortal, and that's our talk. So I think Hall of Fame's, justified in this for the fact of what he's done with New Zealand Rugby League and as a premiership player. But like I said, without him, we don't get Sean Johnson. Yeah. Like you said, Kalen Ponga, even like Pappy. Pappy was a touch player. Yeah. Like, I grew up in a rugby league area and was probably
AJ
always
Grimson,
destined.
Yeah, drink water.
So I think just his effect on kids and growing up playing rugby league, they looked at it differently. Yeah. So I think that's warranted
for
Hall
sure.
of Fame. Yeah.
I genuinely think that the effect he had on the game is in my opinion almost equal or more than his actual resume in the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think if you wanted to cherry pick and go, well, hang on a sec, there's other people that have won a premiership, done good in international footy, and also potentially won a Dally M or a positional Dally M. You could probably find those people, but those people don't also have the impact that Benji had, in my opinion.
Yeah. I wonder if Stacey Jones he'd have to be in the Hall of Fame, wouldn't he?
We'd have to check it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I wonder where Kiwis actually rank Benji as a.
A lot of Kiwis that I speak to is like one of the GOATs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Simon Mattering's another guy that a lot of people consider one of the best Kiwi players. Obviously,
Ruben Wiki.
Yep. I think SJ's up there.
Yep.
I think obviously Benji's up there. Roger Tuivasa.
Because I know, like with Sean Johnson, announcing his retirement, that was the chat where
do you rank him?
Where do you rank him? So I'd love to know Kiwi's top 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe get some of the comments from the punters and just say, look, what's your Kiwi top 5?
Yeah, and also I guess from a Kiwi perspective, is it frustrating that Origin has such heavy sway in a lot of these decisions?
Yeah.
Because they can't, what can they do? They can't force themselves to play Origin, and also we don't want that for the international game. We don't want Kiwis turning their back on the Kiwi jersey for Origin. We want the international game to grow.
100%. Yeah.
It is unfair, in my opinion, that from a perspective of legacy, that Origin has so much weight. Even though obviously I fucking love Origin, but it's unfair that if you're a guy that actually just doesn't apply. And granted, there is Sam Burgess has made the Hall of Fame, which is great. But I do feel like sometimes when you're talking about the GOATs, Origin weighs so heavily in it. And even to the point where there are some GOATs that if you took out their Origin career and just focused on their club career, they actually wouldn't be GOATs. It's actually their Origin career that gets them there.
Well, you could look at two of the guys there from Balmain, like Benny Elias and Blocker Roach, massive in state of origin and for Australia, but and with Balmain, but I'm not sure how many premierships they won, Dally M's and things like that. So I think that's more influence on their representative career, how well they played for Australia and New South Wales.
Absolutely. Alrighty, mate. Let's get into the draw this week.
I haven't even looked.
I got it here, don't worry. Okay, so
apart from the Dragons, Titans.
What's your feeling been on the season so far? Have you enjoyed it? Good year.
I enjoyed every year. When that lull between October through till February is pretty dark sometimes without rugby league. So when it comes around, I'm just excited, no matter what sort of style or how bad the football is, whatever. I don't really see it. I love sitting there watching every game. So I'm a bit biased in saying I wouldn't say this is the greatest year, but it's great every year. I think you look at the fans. The fans are coming out. We've got sold out games. Yep. We've I think the Warriors, what have they sold out, 20 in a row or 20 out of the last 25?
First team ever to sell out their whole year of home games.
I see Manly are selling out a lot of games.
Dolphins versus Bulldogs. Dragons versus Bulldogs.
Dragons versus Bulldogs sell out. I think there's only 3,500 tickets, they said today, between the Dolphins Broncos.
Wow.
And that's in a 52,000 seat stadium. So the fact that that's rivalry is only 2 years old and we're selling it out.
They're both on the fringe of the 8.
We're not talking it's a massive game for both teams. So I think that the fans that are coming to the game is a massive benefit. That's talking it up.
Well, I guess it shows you the space in which the game is at the moment is the fact that fans are actually turning out.
Yep.
And that was the one kind of knock on league for a very long time is no, league's a TV game.
Yep.
AFL's more of you got to go and see it. Whereas the fans are turning out now.
Yep.
I personally think, outside of a few, I think reffing, I think we could improve a little bit. I don't ever want to be a guy that's the refs are the reason that certain teams lost, because I don't think so. I think that at the end of the year, usually the best team wins.
Yep.
But I do think, from a perspective, I think the refs need a bit more resources than they're getting this year. I think that they're getting actually unfairly. We have to remember, it was only 2 or 3 years ago where they had 2 refs and just got taken from them. Boom.
Yeah.
By the way, guys,
had to change. Yeah.
Not only are we taking a whole ref away, we're actually speeding the game up and also introducing about 10 new rules.
Yeah. Fan criticism online is just it's every week is the ref.
It's always the ref's fault.
It's not always the ref's fault.
And look, you get duds, and don't get me wrong, I understand the frustration. In the moment, you get heated, but I think, as I said, at the end of the day, the best team usually wins the comp. Very rarely not.
Fans always focus on one decision in the last 5 minutes and not their team's performance in the first 40 minutes.
So I think one area where we probably could improve is giving the referees more resources and also improving some of the calls from the refs this year. I do feel like, if we're going to judge the playing standard, we also have to judge the reffing standard. I do think there have been weeks where it's been a bit lower, but I think that's more a result of lack of resources given to the refs and direction rather than the other way. Okay,
100%.
We got Penrith versus Storm. Now, just been announced, Fisher Harris, Edwards back for the big clash.
That's massive.
What a clash. Now, at the moment, on Sportsbet, Panthers paying $1.58. The Storm, $2.39, and yet Storm are currently on top of the table.
Storm's a good bet, but I think Penrith get it at home. Too strong with those names coming back, and they know the sense of the game, what it means right now. Top spots on the line, and they need to start their run to the final. So I'm taking Penrith. I'm not taking anything away. Melbourne, they've been great, but Penrith for me.
What is insane for me with Penrith is I actually feel like they haven't been great this year.
Yep.
Watching Penrith, I haven't gone, you're playing to your full ability this year. It's been quite scrappy. They've actually, in regard to individual performances, it really has been for me Isaiah Yeo and Dylan Edwards at the start of the year that really carried the team. Outside of those two boys, I actually don't think the rest of the playing group has been playing the best of form of their career.
Yeah.
And then Luai stepped up in the last probably 8 weeks or 6 weeks or so. But when you actually look across the board, there's actually only maybe 1 or 2 players, if that are having career best years.
Yeah.
And yet they're still fighting for a premiership. Yeah. That is insane to me, and that shows you how good that in my opinion, shows you how far up, above the pack that they are right now. And they've done it all with Nathan Cleary being out for
sidelined so much,
12 weeks or something.
Yeah, crazy.
With Storm, they're a side where I also think they're building towards something.
Yep.
Nelson Sofa-Solomona kind of stepped onto the scene this year, last game against the Rabbitohs, last week against the Rabbitohs, we really that was a Nelson game. If they can get the pieces of the puzzle to click, you just never know with them.
It's crazy how Melbourne just can keep doing it over and over. And the fact that they've had Munster out for so long, they've had players in and out of that team and still sitting top of the pack, it's crazy.
Okay, Manly Warriors, what are you Warriors are paying a 5.10 on Sportsbet.
Yeah, look, I think Manly need to still, win to sort of keep in that 8 as well. I think they're on 20.
Juicy.
It is very juicy, but no, I'm taking Manly.
Okay, Roosters, Eels. Eels are paying $5.80.
Yeah, I don't think we'll. What was it last week against Penrith? I think that'll hurt them and haunt them.
I think that's broken their heart.
Yeah, I think so. I think that now that they were well gone before this, but they still are here to upset teams, and I think that's just going to hurt them too much. So Roosters,
Doggies, and the Dolphins.
A great matchup this week.
Yeah.
Both on 5th versus 8th, I think, at the moment. So both teams need to win. But the Doggies have just been on a tear lately. Unfortunately, my team was the bearer of it last week, but I think they continue on. I think, Bulldogs.
Doggies, Cowboys, Raiders.
I actually like the Raiders in this one.
Okay.
I think
Cowboys were pretty poor last week.
they were, and I think Raiders are still there. They can still make fired up. I think I'll take the Raiders.
Tigers, Rabbitohs.
I'm going to go Tigers. They haven't been too bad. I think I'll take them as a home side.
Dragons, Titans.
Dragons all day.
You're not going to get Titans are so inconsistent.
Yeah.
This is the bounce back game. They're probably going to go out and put 60 on you.
Probably. And Foz's 300th game as well.
Massive
So
congratulations to the big Foz dog.
He's been through so much.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.